Hey, what's up guys, John here. Squatters are taking over America. There are 15.1 million vacant homes right now. They took over a house in Beverly Hills, $4.5 million house, a few weeks ago.
Squatters have turned a mansion into a party house. Police have tried and failed to shut down that party mansion.
Now they've taken over 1,200 homes inside of Atlanta. You have to take a real hard look at what's happened the last couple of years with conversation around the redistribution of wealth, tenant protections, eviction moratoriums. A lot of this conversation, eat the rich, a lot of conversation that is being targeted at people that have money, that have means. Nowadays, that's a property owner. And when you start to look at how expensive the world's getting, you're going to see one thing very, very clearly. That landlord rights and property rights are going to continue to likely fall, and tenant rights, tenant protections, and evictions are going to get harder to complete. And so when you really look at all the chain of events that are unfolding, it's something that every property owner needs to be aware of. I love real estate investing, but at the same time, I'm also looking at the writing on the wall. Things in the world are changing, and we all need to pay attention to this. I'm going to break it down. I'll give you the facts. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's going on in America's housing market. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you. At my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So, presently 15.1 million vacant homes sitting 2022. Nowadays, with everything online, you could easily go on Zillow, you could look at homes in your neighborhood, see the ones that are vacant, no furniture, someone could easily move in there. And if it's a location like Atlanta or Los Angeles or Oakland, San Francisco, Boston, Philadelphia, areas in which have very, very strong tenant protections, people are saying, hey, I could just move in there. I could run a business out of there with no expenses. And that's exactly what they're doing. For example, in Beverly Hills, they took over a $4.5 million house, beautiful property, right behind the Beverly Hills Hotel. And squatters are now running it like a nightclub. They're renting it out, charging door fees. There's estimates they're making between $30,000 to $50,000 a month on this property. Think about that. People go to school to be a lawyer, a doctor, go to school for 8 years, take on all this debt to make $200,000-300,000 a year. You can be a squatter and, making more. And that's exactly what people are doing now. It is unfortunate. It is an absolute disaster that this is happening. And when you look at it from the squatter's point of view, the squatter has no ties to the property. Any crime, any type of anything that happens there, there's nothing tying them to it. Even damages to the property, it's all on the property owner. You look at what's happening right now in Atlanta, 1,200 homes are now being taken over, turning them into illegal clubs and terrorizing neighbors. And they're making a fortune. Squatters are ruining entire neighborhoods in Atlanta. Police response to evict is slow. Some homeowners even resorted to paying nuisances to leave. Brazen squatters even opened an illegal club on a property they had taken over. One of 1,200 homes has been squatted in the city. I'd be terrified in Atlanta to lease out one of my properties. This company they clean out homes for corporate landlords and in some cases remove squatters. Recently, one of the employees, this happened to one of those employees after attempting to remove an intruder. And what they're doing is this. An Atlanta neighborhood found itself in the center of a scandal involving squatters who transformed a home into an illegal club complete with weekend parties and even live horses on the property. Think about that. Imagine you had a single family home, you go on vacation, go away for a month, come back, there's squatters in the house, there's horses, it's a free-for-all. The drama unfolded in South Fulton area where four individuals, D. Anthony Maddox, Jeremy Wheat, Kevin Hall, took up residence without permission. Little did the neighbors know that the 4,000 square foot house, 5-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms would become a den of illicit activity. The squatters ran the clandestine club, held noisy parties, even organized car races in the street, ruining the neighborhood for others. So you think about this. There's 1,200 homes, 1,200 homes. This lady, she was a sheriff, and she went away on vacation, and her property was taken over, $500,000 house. She can't do anything about it. Cannot do anything about it. You're not just going to go evict them and it's going to be, one and done. You're going to take on attorney's fees. You're going to go to court for 3 months, 6 months, maybe spend $15,000, $20,000 worth of attorney's fees, and then you're going to evict who? You don't even know who lives in the property. You're going to serve, someone that you have no idea, right? And so it's this massive runaround. And it's a massive disaster for them. And it's not just Atlanta, it's not just Beverly Hills. It's happened in Philly. In Philadelphia, one person had to pay $1,200 to remove a squatter. Then you had, Hyde Park. You have residents, same exact type of thing. You have, like, it's New York City, same thing. Now, when you start to look at what's going on, and then now you have to pay attention to what's coming. This came out 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And this is called a blueprint for renters' bill of rights. And this is a lot of tenant protections. Well, somebody that moves into a property, it could be argued that a tenant is someone that signs a fair lease, or a tenant is someone that occupies a property. And so when there's a new tenant bill of rights, you got to pay very close attention to what this is going to look like. And you got to look at really clearly at what's happening in the economy. When it costs $15 to go through a drive-through at McDonald's to get a combo meal, people are going to do desperate things. People are going to do things that they would have never imagined when times get tough. And we're not yet there. We're not at a point where, many people are aware of just how tough times are going to get. 6 months, a year from now, more and more people are going to wake up. And they're going to start doing things when they get evicted from their apartment. Where are they going to go? They're going to go live under a bridge? They're going to live outside? No. Many people are going to look for vacant homes to occupy. That's what they're going to do, right? The Biden administration, this is CNBC, announced on Wednesday new actions to protect renters across the U.S., including trying to curb practices to prevent people from accessing housing and curtailing exorbitant rent increases in certain properties with government-backed mortgages. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac mortgages, which is 70% of all mortgages in America, was included in the announcement. It lays out a collection of principles for the federal government and other entities to take action on, including access to safe, quality, accessible, and affordable housing and clear and fair leases. Having the federal government and the White House talk about the need to endorse a renter's bill of rights really is significant. This is from the CEO of National Low-Income Housing Coalition. Where 44 million households, or roughly 35% of the U.S. population, live in rental housing. While this led to a wave of renter protections and aid measures, including historic pot of rent assistance for those who'd fallen behind, most of that help has dried up now. Advocates, when they talk about, getting rid of, egregious rent increases and, removing this right here, all of these exorbitant rent increases, when insurance and taxes go up and rents start to get capped, who loses? The landlord, the property owner. If at the same time, all of this is moving in a direction to where landlords have less ability to evict and it costs them more, what are you going to have? You're going to have a situation where a lot of mom and pop landlords are going to be getting out of the business. That's what's going to happen. A lot of corporations are going to start buying more and more housing stock. They predict that 40% of all single-family homes throughout the entire country will be owned by corporations and investors in 6 years. Presently, it's about 5%, so an 800% increase in the next 6 years. So when I say we're in the greatest wealth transfer of all time, I mean it. We're in the greatest wealth transfer, the greatest asset transfer we've ever seen before. And so when they're talking about egregious rent increases, think about it. If inflation is going up 20% and the cost to maintain the property, even with just basic maintenance, is skyrocketing, how can rent only go up 3% if insurance is going up 20%, right? As part of Wednesday's announcement, the Federal Housing Finance Agency and federal mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac say that they will look into possibility of establishing tenant protections that limit egregious rent increases at properties backed by federal mortgages. More than 20% of national stock of rental units are federally financed. So you have 70% of residential, and then the rental units that are not on a owner-occupied mortgage. It's 1 in 4, right? 1 in 4. It's massive. Rent protections on such properties would be the most significant action the federal government could take. As part of the White House action, the Federal Trade Commission said it will look into ways to expand its authority to take action against practices that unfairly prevent consumers from obtaining and retaining housing. Think about that. Think about what that actually says. As part of the White House action, the Federal Trade Commission said it will look into ways to expand its authority to take action against practices that unfairly prevent consumers from obtaining and retaining housing. The persistence of eviction information on certain background reports will, as well as high as application fees and security deposits, are some of these practices. It's going to go across the board, I'm telling you. So if you are a landlord, owning your property outright will give you more flexibility. You will be able to increase your rents. You will be able to self-insure your properties, not get property insurance. You will be able to circumvent a lot of this. And if you think about what this means for a large corporation that can pay all cash, it means that they can skyrocket the rents. And so if you have a dynamic where a lot of mom and pops are getting squeezed and then they can start skyrocketing the rents or even undercut the rents, they can play with the market. And the more that they can play with the market, the more authority they're going to have over the market. That's what I think is going to happen here. I think we're walking into an all-cash type of market the next couple of years. I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're walking into a slow erosion of property rights, which paying all cash will definitely benefit you in a very, very, very big way. And many people might say, hey, John, home price in my neighborhood are $500,000. No way I'll pay all cash. Look, a property is only worth what a buyer is willing to pay. And a buyer cannot comfortably buy a property and cash flow based on the present value or the present asking price. What do you think is going to happen? Value is going to fall. If interest rates and insurance and taxes are going up, what is this going to mean? Less buyers are going to be willing to buy that property. You start looking at all this, the writing on the wall, you're going to see fewer and fewer buyers looking to get into the rental game. And that actually could be a big opportunity. You always want to do the opposite of what everyone else is going to do. When you start to see all this writing on the wall, I'm telling you, we're about to witness something really, really big here in America's rental market. Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session for tomorrow, for Thursday. Catch you in the next video.